What's up, everybody? Hack Unleashed here today, and we've been lost for a while. Lost in the new cave update, and there's going to be some new videos coming soon about that. But today we're going to go through another tier list. We have our little tier list we did right over here about the farms. That'll be linked in the top right. But we're going to do a hostile mob tier list, and then we're going to discuss about the difficulty of hostile mobs going from most dangerous to least dangerous. And we're doing neutral mobs as well, like bees and wolves, because they'll still attack you if you tick them off. So let's get in it right away. So I have them arranged by categories, kind of. So let's just go through the list off the bat. First off, we got the Piglens, the 1.16 Piglens with either a sword or a crossbow, commonly found in the Nether, and they can mess you up decently badly in bastions, but are similar to the zombie Piglen, where they pose a decent threat. So I would put them at not the most difficult mob to deal with, but a moderate threat early game, especially when you have iron armor. So we're going to just put them here off the bat and see. We'll call this moderate difficulty, and as it goes up, more difficult, and as we go down, less difficult. So let's take a look at the Piglen Brute now. This guy is a lot stronger, only found in bastions, and when you're raiding them, they can be a huge threat because of their damage and health pool that they have, and this makes them a lot much of a bigger threat than the Piglins, even though they have less of a ranged attack. Though they can easily be cheesed, and hopefully you are going for bastions with iron armor, so I would put them at around maybe an A tier, something like that, close to S tier, because they are one of the tougher mobs in the game. And next we got the zombie Piglen. Like I said, just like the Piglen, these guys are not too big of a threat. The only thing that makes them a bit different is that they spawn in much larger groups, I feel, than the Piglins, because they're in the Nether Wastes, and they're one of the only mobs that spawn there, so they will overrun you very quickly. And due to this fact, if you anger them, they're actually a decent sized threat, and they will mess you up pretty badly. Yeah. We're going to put them B. B's pretty good. And we're going to clear all these right off the bat as well. I should just toss them to the side, to be honest. But let's look at Magma Cubes. Now found in the Basalt Deltas. Actually, a sizable threat if they bash you into the ground in the Basalt Deltas due to all the spikes being there. You can easily get pinned in an unsafe area and killed by the Magma Cubes. These are actually a lot more deadly now than they used to be. Usually they were just slow, cumbersome, and didn't really move that much. So I'm actually throwing them up here with Piglen Brutes, where they are a sizable threat now. Yeah, it's an odd one, because they're not, in the old Minecraft days, they did, like, nothing to you, but now they're actually a threat in the Deltas. Ghasts, moderate threat, very weak in the health, decent damage, mostly a threat if they knock you off of platforms, but honestly, they're not too bad, especially because you can reflect the fireballs, and as long as you have a bow, I think you're pretty safe. And if they don't catch you off guard, they're also loud as hell. So I don't think they're much of a threat. Actually, let's move them down. Actually, I don't think they're a threat at all. Yeah, they're definitely less of a threat than Piglins. And Blazes, I was waiting for this one. I was really happy to discuss this one, because Blazes, in my take, are one of the hardest mobs in the game. Mostly because they can snipe you from a half a mile away. And this makes them especially dangerous in Nether Fortress, especially in Soul Sand Valleys, where they'll just snipe you across the entire fort and maybe knock you off your bridges. They're basically the assassins in the Nether world, and that's what makes them the most deadly in my take, because they're not as deadly in raw damage, but the ability for them to assassinate you and knock you off platforms is actually superior to all other mobs. It is insane. Next we got the Wither Skelly. Decent damage. Wither effect can be quite annoying. Can cancel it with milk, but no one carries milk on them, let's be honest. If you do, well, sorry. I guess you're more prepared than I am. But can be easily blocked by having a too high gap in the fort. Though still do a decent amount of damage. Honestly, I put them at a Piglen level. They're a bit more dangerous than a Piglen, but they don't have the swarm tactics, and they're easier to juke than the other mobs. So yeah, roughly a C. seems like the nether mobs have a consistency to be on the more dangerous sides than the other mobs we'll see later, but we'll take a look. The Zoglin and the Hoglin, we're going to do both at once. They're basically the same, and you can see we have them both together right here. The Zoglin's going to beat up the Hoglin, but both decently deadly. In the Crimson Forest, these guys can kind of do a decent amount of damage, so they're a bit above average, though they get stuck in different places. I'd say they're almost equivalent to the Piglen, because even though they don't swarm you, they do a decent amount of damage, and they can knock you into the air as well. Kind of like Iron Golem, but a bit weaker. So we're going to just toss all this right off to the side and go to the next. Our next category, oh, I did kind of see and non-see things. We're missing nothing, actually. Here we are. We're going to grab all three at once. We got the Drowned first, and the Drowned are pretty deadly early game. If they have tridents. If they don't have tridents, they are completely weak. They're basically a regular zombie, but if you get stuck in the water without Depth Strider, the trident guys can be decently deadly. But besides that, I honestly don't see them as much of a threat compared to other things. Like Guardians, for example, they are much... If you get caught in the open with a bunch of Guardians, I'd be much more scared than a bunch of Drowned, to be honest. So yeah, definitely. In the Elder Guardian, honestly, he's just a very chunky guy, and he does some damage, but just like Guardians, you can cheese him inside the, what's it called? Inside the Ocean Monument. You can just cheese him in there, and that's the different thing with Guardians. Guardians are harder to cheese because they'll be on the outside of the monument as well. So we're going to actually put them at an average difficulty, even though they are quite annoying to fight. A decent annoyance, at least. So, now that we got all the ocean ones done off the bat, compared to the nether ones, that went really quick. We got some overworld mobs right here. We'll grab the first three off the bat. The zombie villager and the zombie, not villager, are not too big of threats. The only threats they are is if there's a baby zombie and it has a tool, then it could be a little bit deadly, but if anyone goes in this category, it's going to be the two zombies. They're not a threat at all, let's be honest. Like, early game, maybe they can catch you off guard in a horde in a village, but they're not too big of a threat. Skeletons now? Let's do skeletons separate from the others. Decent threat. Early game, they can catch you off guard if there's a group of them. They're not as difficult as Wither Skellies or Piglens. They're kind of equivalent to Piglins almost, actually, because crossbows aren't that good either. But they have armor and enchanted gear. Skeletons don't have it as often, but you're facing these more early game as well. Yeah, so we'll throw them here. Skeleton. I don't think we're going to have a lot of low tiers right here, since we're using C to judge moderate difficulty. I don't think so. Obviously, late game, the skeletons would be down here in E. Or once you even get a shield. Yeah, you can get a shield really early. If you get a shield, skeletons are... Yeah, it's just one piece of iron. Yeah, they'll go down there. Yeah, we're going to do that. Cave spiders and spiders. Now, spiders I'm just going to do... Honestly, I don't want to say they're as weak as zombies. They are kind of weak, but at least they have the ability to climb. That's something for them. The ability to climb can catch you off guard at times, I guess. Knock you off your pillars if you're trying to get away from something. Yeah, we'll do that. And then cave spiders, we're going to actually put up a little higher. I think they're equivalent to a Ghast, where they can catch you off guard in the cave systems, and the poison from them is not deadly, so you can block yourself off. So, as long as you aren't caught off guard completely, you can save yourself pretty easily. They just drain a lot of your food when you fight them because the poison ticks down your health so low. So they're not as much of a deadly threat as they are a nuisance to deal with. Speaking about nuisances, witches. They are annoying because of the slowness, the poison, instant damage. You honestly don't fight them that much though, so they're kind of hard to judge. Honestly, are they as bad as the Zoglin? And a Hoglin? If you're... Honestly, yes. If you get in a fight with one and they hit you with slowness, they hit you with poison, they can be a decent threat. They have a good amount of health. And they have a smart AI as well, because they'll poison you before they start using instant damage. So yeah, I'd put the Witch above average. Definitely more difficult than a Piglin and an Elder... Yeah, Elder Guardian because of the cheese. Yeah, definitely. I think it goes in that right there. I should have spawned one, actually, because I haven't been doing this as well. The Creeper, always going to be an assassin threat. Killing you at no time, jumping down from ravines and bombing you. It honestly, assassins are just so high up there because the point in late game is that you get killed by things that you do not expect. So I'm going to put them up here. Early game, they will bomb you. Late game, they can still bomb you. Even if it's not insta-kill, they will drop on you and set you up to die if they don't kill you off the bat. So they're a pretty sizable threat. We're going to go with the next ones. We got the end guys and then the Phantom here. We didn't know where to throw him, to be honest. He kind of fits in the overworld mobs. So we're going to spawn one and then thwack him so he doesn't fly away. Hey, get back here. And these guys, E. Not a threat. Not a threat at all. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. They can knock you off of high things. That's about it. They don't do a lot of damage. Just very annoying of a mob. You know, after they introduced the glow squid, people were like, hey, you guys voted for Phantom, so why not glow squid? Kind of a great thing, they said. Shulkers, if you're unprepared, they can be a decent threat. I'd say they're C, mostly because you can catch yourself under a platform. If you're in iron armor, you will get hurt very badly, but usually by the time you face them, you have decent gears. I hope, at least. So I don't think they're too much of a threat. Maybe in those long tubes in the end cities where there's thousands of them, they can be a bit difficult, but not too bad here. Yeah, we'll put them there. We'll put them there. Endermite. Yeah, you're a silverfish. You're a glorified silverfish that's useful for mob farms. Yeah, yeah, glorified silverfish. Endermen actually. A bit more dangerous. We don't want you to teleport, so we're just going to thwack you. Decent threat. More than a zombie, more than a cave spider. Probably more than a wither skelly as well, just due to their early game access. Yeah, I'd put them above average. I'd put them... Yeah, I'd definitely... Oop. I'd definitely put them at A tier right here. Definitely more of a threat than witches and hoglins. I think they're just the fact of them teleporting is a bit annoying, but they're not too bad. And this is one of the categories I was looking forward to, the Pillager category. This category has a lot of deadly mobs in it, actually. So let's go with Ravanger and Evoker first. The Evoker themselves actually isn't a threat at all. I'm talking about their attacks where they summon the alligators from the ground, stuff like that. Those attacks aren't too deadly. They don't do them too often because they summon Vexes, and Vexes get their own slot here. So actually, Evokers go very low on the pyramid. I might even put them at E tier as well, but just because they summon, I have to give them some credit, even though I'm not giving them credit for the Vex's damage. Ravengers? Sizable threat. I put them in A tier. You know what? They do quite a bit of damage. They can break leaves, different from other mobs, so we'll put them as a sizable threat. They do a lot of damage. Honestly, the Piglin Brute might belong up here as well, just because of the raw damage they do. Both these guys do a lot of damage, and that's the main factor that makes me put them so high. Because if you get hit twice by them, I think you might be dead, and even full netherite without protection 4. So, yeah, that's pretty bad, pretty bad. And then we got these three right here. Let's sort these out. 3, 4, 5 right there. And we got the Vex. S tier off the bat. This is one I was guaranteed to put up here because they can fly through blocks, they can have a small hitbox, and they do a decent amount of damage. They're quite annoying to deal with because they're hard to hit with a sword, and shooting them is also hard because of their hitbox once again. Honestly, trapping them in boats is the best way to deal with them. Place a bunch of boats down, they fly in and get stuck. And that's why the Evoker's so low, because these guys are the deadly part of the Evoker. They are horrible. Hey, and see, he tries to slip away right there. Let's look at their hitbox. See, it's tiny, and then they try to sink down as low as they can go. The Pillager, glorified Piglin. Yeah. It's a Piglin without a sword. The Vindicator is actually a better Piglin because the Vindicators do a lot more damage, so we're putting them up here. They're not as good as a Piglin Brute. They don't have the health or damage of Piglin Brute, but they still do a decent amount. So let's toss those over there. That's actually all our Pillager mobs. And most of them ranked a little bit higher up. We can see all the bottom ones right there are suffering. And we're going to grab the 3 peaceful mobs off the bat, and we're just going to put them down here off the bat. Wolves and bees are not deadly at all. Wolves might be even a little bit more deadly than zombies, and equal to phantoms, but yeah. Bees give poison, but I don't know why you're angering bees. They didn't do anything to you, so leave them alone. Those poor things did nothing to you. Do not hurt the bees. They're endangered. And honestly, my take for deadliest mob, or second deadliest mob, is Iron Golem. If you attack them, they can kill you instantly, even in full enchanted armor. If you get stuck in a door frame, they can hit you instantly 3 times in a row and insta-kill you. That's why they're so deadly. If you get stuck in a small space, you're toast. If you're in an open space, you can deal with them easily. But if you're in a small space, they will just swing their arms till you're dead. And it is insane how much damage they do. So they're definitely a top tier. Ender Dragon, it's actually really funny. Ender Dragon is a very sad, sad boy. I'd rather face him than a Magma Cube, Creeper, or Enderman. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty sad. Pretty sad, I would say. He's just so bad. Wither, you can cheese him really easily. You can use a glitch to put him into the end portal and suffocate him. You can even fight him in the cave systems, which is pretty easy, digging a long tunnel. But if you fight him normally, he's a decent sizable threat. So we'll take the average of being F tier for doing the glitch, D tier for fighting him in caves, and then S tier if you're fighting him in the open, and we'll put him at a solid A tier. If you're fighting him in a regular way, the Wither is decently deadly, so I wouldn't put him any lower. I'm not going to say the glitch method is where he ranks, because I think he's a sizable threat if you actually want to fight him, so we're going to put him there. And that's our list for mobs. I don't think there's anything we have to really rearrange, taking a look at it. I might be debating between the Piglin Brute being S and A, but we're going to keep the Piglin Brute up here. But the deadliest mob, I am between the Iron Golem and the Blaze right here. Because the Blazes are the assassins, and the Iron Golems are just the brutes that will take you out in no time. And the Iron Golems just have larger range than the Ravengers. It's a tiny bit larger, but it is larger. They have more health, and they do more damage, along with knocking you into the air or just outright killing you and stuck in a small space. So those are out off the bat. Vexes just don't meet the damage of the Iron Golem, even though they kind of are assassins and hard to hit. You know, they're in the top 3. So if we had to do our top 3 in a row, I would do Iron Golem, Blaze, and then Vex right here for our 3 most difficult mobs in Minecraft. If you have any hot takes of what you think is the most dangerous mob, let me know in the comments down below. But I think I did quite a decent job arranging them. And let's just do a scan over and make sure, if you like this video, to stay tuned for more of them. And I will be doing more videos soon, especially on the cave update. That's coming out really soon. Well, maybe a year, but there's a lot more information probably coming out soon. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, all that down below. And I will see you later. Peace.